Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Average Joe's Rants. Um, as of this recording, the last video I made hasn't gotten any views, but like I said before, even though it'd benefit the channel, that's not why I do this stuff. You know, it'd be great because then I'd be able to put out more videos and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I'm doing it mainly to rant about the things in the world and to get stuff off my chest. And if people like that, cool. But again, welcome to Average Joe Rants. Just to start, before we get into today's topic, it's going to be a long one, folks, because I have to go through a lot of context for this little, nugget. Alright? Because it's gonna be about Dragon Age of Veilguard, and there's a lot to unpack when it comes to, because I haven't played it and I have no intention of playing it, but I want to give my personal history with the series and rant about how much of a bad impression Veilguard left on me, right? So might be one of the longest videos because there's a lot to unpack here, right? Okay, so just to start out with, if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and share so other people can agree with me or send me death threats, whichever comes first. um, and the reason why I want to talk about this, despite not playing the game itself and not having any plans to, is because I want to really, from the perspective of a fan of the series, has been there since day one, essentially. I really want to impress upon a lot of people just how badly Veilguard left an impression on. Like, the first impression that was instilled upon me when I saw that first trailer was really bad, and I really want to express why it was so bad. Why Veilguard is a game I'm never gonna pick up, even if it was like a penny. Alright? And it has nothing to do. Okay, well, that's a lie. It has something to do with DEI and wokeness. I'm not gonna lie about that. But for the most part, it's a complete and utter betrayal of the series that it represents. The absolute betrayal of, like, its setting, its personality, its characters, its story. Just it's shit. And the thing is, a lot of people are like, you can't judge something unless you play it. I want to actually counteract that point immediately before we even get onto today's topic, because I personally believe first impressions are absolutely everything. It doesn't matter whether it's people, food, games, movies, whatever. If somebody doesn't like something from the first go, they're not gonna fucking buy or see it or eat it. Like, imagine if I took a burger and it was this amazing looking burger, right? And that's the first impression you get of that burger. You're like, you look at this poster of this burger, you're like, holy fuck, that looks amazing, right? And then I bring you the actual burger, and it looks like something you got from Burger King. Like this small ass patty, small ass fucking bun, small ass, like, just chopped ass lettuce. Just horrible looking in comparison. But instead of saying, like, oh, that's my bad, I just went, well, that's what you ordered. That's pretty much my thing with first impressions, is that you need to be both, you need to be honest about a first impression, and the product that comes afterward needs to be like that first impression. And that's why I think a lot of games nowadays also fail, besides Veilguard, is because they give out this impression that it's going to be this super fun time, and it's like, you get to the actual game and it's dog shit. Or you watch a movie and it looks fucking amazing on the trailer, and then you watch the actual movie and it's crap. It's boring, characters aren't interesting. Okay, hey, movie theater, can I just, I'm just gonna leave. You know? And that's really the duality of a first impression, is that if you have a horrible first impression as well, you're not gonna do what I just described. Like, if you have a good first impression, you probably are going to watch that movie or play that game. But if you don't like it, even after that impression, you're not going to really do anything with that product or that movie afterwards or that food. But if you have a horrible first impression, they're not even going to you're not even going to touch it. Why would you? You have such a horrible first impression of what you just saw or, listened to. Why would you even touch that? And that's really what I want to get into today. Is both my personal experience with the series and just how badly Veilguard fucked up. Not only in that first trailer, but everything afterwards. Because it basically was everything people were saying it was. This DEI woke-infested piece of garbage. And it gets worse than that in some cases. So let's get into it. So, Jesus. I don't even know where to start, if I'm going to be honest, because it pissed me off so much back then, and it pisses me off just as much now. Because I love Dragon Age. I absolutely do. Regardless of what people say about me, like, oh, you're just a fat, white, bearded fuck who's everything wrong with society, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit about that. Okay? I really don't. Because at the end of the day, I have my themes that I like, and I have my themes that I don't like. And Dragon Age was one of those things I absolutely loved back in the day. When Origins came out, this was one of my favorite games to play. I did everything in that fucking game. I never do that. I never do everything in a game. But I played every race, I played every class, I played every origin story, and there's like 7 of them. I made every choice. I made every, it's crazy how much what there actually was in that game. Every playthrough I had was different in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was different choices, different ways quests could end. It was crazy. And the characters themselves were fantastic. Alistair being this awkward blonde knight fuck who, if you make the right decisions, you eventually manage to make him into somebody worthy of being a king. Morgan, with her fucking sarcastic as shit, cynical worldview, who you could also romance and get her to be a little more lighthearted and actually experience love for the first time in her life. Liliana, her being this nun that somehow is able to shoot a bow with incredible accuracy, and eventually you figure out that she was actually an assassin before she came to the Chantry, which is their religion. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack with the series itself, but my first impression of Dragon Age Origins with that first trailer for it was phenomenal. And when I bought the game, when it came out, it blew my fucking mind. It was the most amazing gaming experience I have ever had. It actually made me cry, believe it or not. It actually made me cry about how good it was, because I went from playing on the Nintendo GameCube to this. Okay, it's I had Dragon Age Origins, I had Oblivion. Alright, when that I had Oblivion first, obviously. But I had an Xbox 360, and it was blowing my mind with just how expansive these worlds are. Mass Effect followed soon after I finished Dragon Age Origins. I bought that when it came out. Well, okay, I should probably specify, because a lot of people are probably going to point out, well, Mass Effect came first. Yes, it did. I bought it after I beat Dragon Age Origins. I didn't buy Mass Effect after Dragon Age Origins came out, because obviously it came out after Mass Effect. It was my first ever real, experience with BioWare games, too. It was crazy. It was crazy to me that I'd never heard of this amazing-ass company before. Right? And so I got like an original Xbox. I played Knights of the Old Republic. I was amazed by that fucking game. I played Jade Empire. I was amazed by that fucking game. And it just kept going. Mass Effect 2 kept going. Dragon Age 2, a little less fun than Dragon Age Origins. Like Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age Inquisition. It just kept going. Hit after hit after hit after hit. With one miss with Dragon Age 2. But the batting average was insane for these people. Okay? I never played Sonic the Dark Brotherhood, by the way. So that would be another misfire. Although I like Shadow the Hedgehog, so maybe that will become a guilty pleasure as well. I don't know. But my thing is like I loved this company to death at this point. I loved it. They were putting out so much good shit. It was insane. And then I finished Dragon Age Inquisition, right? I had played as an elven character because I have this little character I play with every game called Zordon Landless. And he's usually like a rogue type character. He's usually a half elf if I'm playing like Pathfinder games or whatever. And he's a regular elf in games, well, that's not an option. That's not my point. My point is, I finished Dragon Age Inquisition. I had so much fun with it. I was getting a little bored towards the end with all the collectibles, but eventually I did it and I got back on track. I finished the DLC that came after the game. And then I went on to other stuff, pretty much. It wasn't that I didn't want to play it again, it's that I like to take breaks between playthroughs. I was thinking about doing it. In fact, I was thinking about doing a little private celebration for myself and playing through every Dragon Age game in preparation for Dreadwolf. Because before it was called Veilguard, it was called Dreadwolf. So I got super excited when it was finally announced. I was like, finally, we're getting another Dragon Age game, right? And then Tash happened. That first trailer happened. And my expectations went from a record high to crashing lows. And I started to get very, very angry. I got so fucking pissed off at this trailer because everything about it was bad. The graphics were bad. The characters were pretentious. The fucking setting wasn't even dark fantasy anymore. Oh, it made it seem like it, but the fucking Darkspawn. What the fuck happened to the Darkspawn? They look like fucking cartoon characters. What the fuck happened here? And then, as if that wasn't bad fucking enough, I started hearing about how Tash is this new non-binary character. I'm just like, who gives a fuck? Right? And then I calmed down. I was like, you know what? As long as she is a good character, as long as she's like likable, I don't care. Because I don't judge people on their choices in life. If people want to be fucking stupid and call themselves non-binary, that's their deal. I couldn't give a shit less. Okay, I don't live their lives. If that's what they believe, that's what they believe. If that's what they are, that's what they are. I don't give a shit. But then this voice actor for her, or it, or whatever the fuck, was revealed, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god. I can't even... What the Hold on. Alright, sorry about that, folks. I'm gonna need to put two videos together now because for some reason my phone turned off and that made it into a separate video. So that's great, but I'll edit it together for you from here. Okay, sorry about that. Jin Melee is what I was gonna fucking say. There's some fucker's dog outside my goddamn window scratching on it. Wasn't barking. like whining, and then the owner came up and was like, sorry, and I just went, oh, it's fine, whatever. Jin Melee is the voice actor for Tash, and I fucking hate her so much because she's so fucking offended by everything. She literally did this whole thing on this show called Read the Comments or whatever the fuck, and she takes offense to literally anything. Somebody says, man, Jen looks like she works out, and she's just like, what is that supposed to mean, huh? It's like, fucking shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay? Jesus Christ. She's like the worst kind of person. Like, you can't even have a conversation with her without starting shit. I hope I legitimately hope someone fucking punches her in the goddamn face. Because she needs it. She needs to understand that she can't be offended by everything. Or somebody's going to take offense to her offense and give her what for. Anywho. Or it. Or whatever the fuck she decides to call herself. I don't give a shit. Okay? Anywho. And then just other things like the... I can't even remember her fucking name because it's like the dwarf that did all this scouts. Harding. That's it. Harding is going to be a playable NPC character. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the scout that's not really made for combat. Let's put her in combat. Then you got this necromancer and this fucking slave of the Tevinter Imperium. And they're not supposed to get along. Because Tevinter Imperium mages like the necromancer are slave owners. In fact, that's most of their workforce is slavery. And it's like the whole setting gets changed from dark fantasy to fantasy because these woke motherfuckers cannot handle a darker story that's like, they can't handle a darker story that's not like fucking Twilight. Or, God, worst of them are like Teletubbies. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I see gameplay of the Defender Imperium. I'm expecting to see fucking slaves marching in order to the sound of a fucking whip, because that's how it should fucking be, because the Defender Imperium is a horrible fucking place. And no, the streets are fucking empty. Everybody's just like dead, talking about random bullshit. And, God damn it. Sorry, my phone is being an asshole. There we go. Anywho, but yeah, this is what pissed me off about the whole thing. And then the game releases, and then we get... Oh my god. Give me a second. Oh my god, it gets so much worse. Everything just gets so much worse. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to freak out here, but I'm just it's still so fresh. It still pisses me off. Oh my god. And so, we get these scenes, right? People start doing gameplay videos, right? Oh my, and the two worst ones, three worst ones in my opinion, but people usually boil them down to two. I boil it down to three. And of course, two of them have Tash in them, because of course they do. In fact, most of Tash's scenes are so cringy, it's not even fucking funny. Makes you want to take a gun and just unload. I'm not telling anybody to fucking do that. That's what it makes you feel. You want to get as far fucking away from that screen as possible when those fucking cutscenes start playing. Because one of the cutscenes, they're having a discussion about team morale or whatever the fuck, and Tasha's making like sexual advances towards Harding. And it's so fucking bad. It's like he basically tells Harding she's sexy as fuck. And of course Harding is uncomfortable. She goes, "Oh, well, that's nice." And then she, like, growls at her in, like, lust. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Cash? Oh, that's not the worst one, though. That's the third worst, in my opinion. The second worst also features Tash. And is literally her kabadawing the fucking... And kabadon is like when you do that. You do your fit, you do your palm and your thumb on your left side. You do it against the wall and you're like, hey. Like that kind of shit. Literally this close, by the way, she does it. I'm not even fucking joking about it. Literally this fucking close. And she starts fucking, like, telling the main character, think about us having sex. And it's like, most players who see this scene, including myself, even though I didn't play it, it's like, whoa, 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 back the fuck up. Chill the fuck out. And your choices you get in this situation aren't even anything like that. It's literally like, oh, yeah, or like the sexy choices. I'm just like, where's the choice to tell her to back the fuck off? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you have to be fucking nice. That's another thing that pisses people off about this game. Everybody has to be so fucking nice to each other, even if somebody is fucking in your bubble, basically molesting you. You're forced to be nice about that. That's fucking crazy to me. Somebody does that to me in real life, I'm punching him in the fucking face. I don't give a shit. You don't do that to somebody. You don't care what the fucking reason is. Okay? That's the option that should have been there. The fucking renegade option from Mass Effect should have appeared there. And you punch Tosh in the fucking face telling her to back the fuck off. I'm calling her instead of it because she's such an annoying little cunt. She doesn't deserve that respect. In my personal opinion. Jesus Christ. And of course, what's number one? What's the number one worst fucking cutscene? Well, y'all basically probably know, but it would be the push-up. It would be the push-up scene. And I have to actually describe this one in detail. Because it is the most pretentious, cringy, crazy, insane asylum-ass shit I have ever heard in my life. So, God. Basically, basically all the main characters, the party is in this hot spring or steam room or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And one of the characters misgenders another one. And Jesus Christ. Instead of just apologizing and saying, sorry, I won't do it again like a normal fucking person, she gets down on her hands and knees and starts doing fucking push-ups. And instead of fucking goddamn. Because of course because your main character asks, what the fuck are you doing? And then they have her basically say that when you misgender somebody or you mispronounce their pronouns or whatever, doing push-ups and physically painting yourself is the best kind of apology to them. What kind of insane Joker-ass reasoning is that? You mispronounce somebody's pronouns or you misgender them by accident and you're going to have them work out as an apology? And then you're going to try to make other people think. Yeah, you're going to give your reason in such an asinine fucking way. How about this, BioWare? How about this, you woke DEI fucking motherfuckers? How about you go fuck yourself? How about you just say you're fucking sorry? You pretentious cunts. I'm not gonna fucking work out. I'm not gonna fucking do push-ups to say I'm sorry. You fucking insane? Are you fucking actually crazy? Why the fuck would I give a fuck enough to go that far? I would simply say, I'm sorry, I mispronounced your pronouns, I promise I will not do it again. That's as far as that needs to go. The fact that you are having one of the main characters do fucking 10 push-ups, which she doesn't even do, by the way, do 10 fucking push-ups as an apology to somebody for mispronouncing their pronouns or misgendering them is fucking asinine. That is crazy person thinking. That is the kind of thinking where somebody's been on Reddit or Twitter way too fucking long. That their brain just adjusts to that crazy ass shit. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. And then it's just everything. And then, oh my God. Okay, I'm almost done with this rant. And it's actually going to be shorter than I thought. But the worst thing might be this one last thing. And that is a boss fight. It's against like, I forget if it's an eel or a dragon. But unless you're a mage, it takes an hour and a half to beat. I don't care whatsoever your reasoning for that is. That is unacceptable. To have a boss fight last an hour and a fucking half, that is not a fucking Souls game. And you know what the worst part about that boss fight is? The boss fight is incredibly fucking easy. It's literally the snake or whatever lunges at you, you dodge out of the way, and then you take a couple fucking pot shots. That's it. That's the entire fucking boss fight for an hour and a fucking half. That is fucking crazy to me. I've never been in a boss fight that took more than fucking 20 minutes. And even then, that's mostly because of like, you know, I'm first time doing the boss fight, right? And then after I do it and then I try it again, it takes way less time because I know what the fuck to do. But in this boss fight, that's not even the case. It's an hour and a half fucking regardless. It's crazy as fuck to me how this got... You know what? As if to just prove my point about how more care was diverted to the DEI and woke messaging and changing everything about the lore of that game to suit that. There's actually some recent news about the Veilguard, the gaming awards, these made up fucking awards that of course the LGBTQ and community and all that shit made up because nobody was giving this piece of shit an actual game of the year. Got game of the year there. No shit, right? Gay is like, you know what Dragon Age Veilguard is to me? It is the gayest as fuck game I have ever seen in my fucking life. And I don't even mean that in a good way. It is the worst example of trying to uplift a community, of trying to teach other people about this messaging I've ever seen in my fucking life. Disregarding everything else, this is the absolute worst way you could have done a game about DEI and wokeness. You took a dark fantasy game, turned it into a regular fantasy game. You made the characters basically be forced to get along, despite the fact that many of their fucking personal desires and ways they live their lives counteract each other to the point where there should be mass fighting, which is how it was in every Dragon Age game. Everybody basically, a lot of people in your party basically hated the other, and because the only reason they were fighting together is because of you. But no, every character here, happy crappy. What do I even say at this fucking point, man? Like, I don't even know what to say at this point. I feel like I've said all I need to do. I'll say all I needed to say. And the worst part is, there's so much more. There's the non-open world that's just a bunch of hallways, even if you're in a fucking valley or whatever. There's the stupid as fuck character creation, which leads people to make these incredibly ugly ass people. There's the exclusive trans branch of choices, the LGBTQ branch of choices. There's so much, and this is already going on for 30 minutes. I've not even scratched the fucking surface, and the thing is, the crazy thing is unlike other media, I don't need to scratch the surface to know this game's a piece of shit. I don't need to go deeper. I have all I need. Everything I just told you, I have all I need not to buy this fucking game. This is one of those instances where you don't need a lot to just say no. Other people playing the game, and that speaks for itself how much they complain about it. If you're agreeing with the complaints, you probably agree that you're not going to fucking pay $60 to $80 for this piece of shit. In fact, within its first week, it was like discounted. That's bad when a game gets discounted immediately. What do I even say at this point except don't buy this shit? Because I feel like that's obvious. Okay, you know what? I know what I need to say. I know what I want to say. Don't support this company as long as they keep making schlock like this. Do not. Because they honestly don't fucking deserve your money. If they're going to keep doing this activist shit where nobody can really enjoy it except those so extreme enough that they will literally... But, oh, by the way, I didn't even mention the fact that many woke and DEIers would buy multiple copies of this game to make it seem like it was this big success. But because they're just a bunch of unemployed fucks, obviously they couldn't fucking buy too many. Like, somebody actually, on a different subject, but kind of also going into my point, somebody bought 100 copies of fucking Concord to make it seem like that game was successful. I'm not even fucking kidding. That's it. That's literally it. I have nothing else to really say about this. It's... Don't support this. Don't support BioWare if they're just gonna put activism first instead of their loyal as fuck fans. Because this made me hate them, and I don't like hating shit. But I can't support a company that's gonna go, especially a company whose own voice actors and own directors insult people like me because we're not fucking impressed with the direction they took the series. That has nothing even to do with DEI or whatever. I even mentioned that if Tash turned out to be a good character, all would be forgiven. But it turned out she was actually the worst character in that fucking game. And honestly, on a sort of an ending note, because I'm starting to rant a little too much here, the best ending in the game, in many players' minds, is where everybody dies. Which is a complete inverse of It's a complete inverse of Mass Effect 2's thing, where the best ending was where everybody lived. It's crazy to me how far this company has fallen, how far Dragon Age has fallen, and because of this fuck up, there might never be a Dragon Age game again. And that's sad. That's sad to me. So I'm actually gonna give some advice before I end this. Here's what you need to do, BioWare. You need to pull a Postal. Okay? You need to forget this game, Veilguard, ever existed. Make a new game. Make it seem like it was this bad dream the main character had. Okay, same thing as with Postal. Because that's what they did. They made a new Postal 3 when the old Postal 3 turned out to be a piece of shit. And they made it seem like a bad dream on the part of the Postal guys, like Psychosis. That's what needs to happen if you want to do another Dragon Age game, because I have no fucking clue how this Veilguard is, like, it's not even the kind of game that you expect to get, like, notoriety years later. This is the shit. It's just crap. Like, I have no plans to play this because I already know my answer. That's gonna, even if I play through the entire game, I already know I'm not gonna have fun. And why would I buy the game if I know I'm not gonna have fun? I disagree with a lot of the game's messaging. I disagree with the gameplay changes. I disagree with the graphics. I disagree with the characters. I disagree with the story. Why would I buy that fucking game? And to end this video finally, the answer is I wouldn't. And ultimately, that's why first impressions are everything. And why not lying to your customers after the first impression is everything. Because if you're true with your first impression, if you're true afterwards, after making it, you will gain more fans, you will gain more positive notoriety, you will gain more money by doing that. And that's the only thing. I wish that, for the most part, this hadn't happened, but in a way, I'm glad it did. If only because I now know that I cannot trust anybody in the game industry right now. And so, from this moment forward, I will be buying games from before the 2020s. And I will be doing extensive research to make sure they're not woke. Okay, that's going to be the end of the video then. If you agree with anything I'm saying, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, comment below. And, call me a piece of shit or whatever you want to call me. Alright, that's going to be it. I got some fucking video editing to do now because this is actually going to be 2 videos right now and I don't want that to happen. So, see you guys later. This is Average Joe Rants, signing off.